Fruit, vegetables, rice are daily staples and a privilege to many. They not only fill our stomachs and nourish us, but also feed our mouths. With Russia's invasion of Ukraine last year causing a disruption to the global food supply chain, Indonesian President Joko Widodo has called for action to safeguard food security. There's also concern surrounding the El Nino phenomenon this year. In this episode of CNA Correspondent, my colleague Saiful Bahri Ismail and I, Chandni Vatwani, will explore the stakes and potential challenges in ensuring a well-functioning agricultural sector in Indonesia. Efrina Ginting turned her hobby into a business. The 40-year-old has been farming hydroponically for the last 8 years. But up until about a year ago, she planted her crops in a greenhouse measuring some 200 square meters. After working with agri-tech firm Belief Farms, she has now scaled up, using nearly 1,000 square meters of space spread over 3 greenhouses across 2 locations in West Java.
Saya nanam pakcoy itu sedikit. Jadi waktu saya mau panen ya saya tawarkan, ya mereka ambil. Awalnya di situ. Nah, udah ke situ, mereka nawarin, gimana Bu kalau seandainya nanamnya sesuai dengan permintaan kita, tapi satu kebun itu satu item, yaitu pakcoy aja. Dari situ awalnya.
Having started out in 2019 and finding success as a hydroponic farm, the team at Belief soon realized that more was needed and could be done in Indonesia's horticultural sector. So, they developed and began implementing a new program, Farming as a Service.
A lot of farmers are actually underperforming in terms of yield and quality, especially in comparison to other Southeast Asian countries. So we decided that rather than continuing to build our own farms, we would instead help existing farms. And what we do is we help farms with their inputs, their crop management, crop rotation, and we have our agronomists and supervisors work with them to improve their yield and quality, and upon harvest, we offtake all of their produce.
The produce Belief purchases from farmers is then processed at the company's facilities in West Java, after which it is sold to various clients within the country, as well as exported overseas to Singapore, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. The company has multiple greenhouses and several research farms. Research and development is crucial in determining agriculture productivity and affects food prices.
Jaraknya juga ditentukan oleh riset?
Iya, riset. Jadi kita misal potongannya pun dari riset kita, yang paling efektif dan efisien itu potongannya berapa. Dan lubangnya antara ini berapa, itu kita juga ada risetnya. Jadi nggak bisa tinggal, oh lubangnya banyak nih, lubangnya banyak gini. Juga nggak akan bisa, karena kan patokannya adalah ini adalah media tempat si akar itu tumbuh. Jika itu media terlalu kecil di tempat production, dia akan kehanyut oleh air. Jadi kalau kebesaran juga kita akan terlalu banyak cost.
For farmer Rahmat Hidayat, the chance to work with Belief was initially met with skepticism. Mr. Rahmat, who grows 30 kilograms of Horenzo per day for the company, was concerned about getting a fair agreement for his produce.
Saya pertimbangkan dulu, enggak langsung saya begitu cari mitra, tertarik sama harga dan kontrak itu. Bukan itu saya, tapi kita harus menepati janjinya. Kita pun ya berpikir, apakah ini benar nih? Kita coba sedikit ya berjalan, udah hampir sebulan ya berjalan terus. Akhirnya alhamdulillah kita bisa memprediksi keadaan kita loh. Pendapatan kita, pengeluaran kita bisa kelihatan.
Having secured nearly 40 partner farmers so far, getting them on board isn't always the easiest task.
Ini seperti cari jodoh sebenarnya ya. Memang ada petani yang sangat sulit gitu ya. Karena mungkin dia tahu market, dia maunya harga pasar terus. Padahal yang membedakan kan kita dengan yang lainnya adalah kita sudah bermitra, hasilnya sudah pasti kita ambil. Walaupun kita tidak ada off-takernya gitu ya. Kalau mengurangi keuntungannya sedikit di sini, tapi kita bisa continue, mungkin secara overall revenue-nya petani juga akan lebih besar karena kuantitinya jauh lebih besar.
Indonesia is one of the world's major agricultural nations, with agriculture farms taking up 32% of the total land area of the country and contributing about 14% of the economy's output. Generally, smallholder farmers get the least benefits in the food chain system, but the partnership with private enterprises could change things for the better. President Joko Widodo has previously called on companies to work with micro, small, and medium enterprises, including farmers, to boost the competitiveness of MSMEs.
Kami bermaksud dengan adanya gerakan ini, yang ini adalah suatu awal gerakan dari perusahaan adalah bagaimana kemitraan inklusif atau pendampingan melekat pada UMKM termasuk petani dan juga nelayan di seluruh Indonesia. Dengan demikian, bagaimana peran sebuah perusahaan adalah melakukan transfer pengetahuan, teknologi, memperluas akses pembiayaan, memberi bantuan distribusi hasil pertanian, dan membuka akses pasar, baik nasional maupun ekspor.
Empowering farmers is not the only benefit being reaped by Belief Farms. The firm is also constantly innovating and finding new ways to ensure its crops are protected against various environmental changes, like installing these man-made rain shelters to mostly seal the crop inside, protecting it in order to grow better quality produce, a method that is still being tested out. If successful, such methods can be implemented and guard against real-life scenarios.
El Nino itu yang mungkin lebih ke heat wave ya, itu suhu udara naik. Nah itu akan mengcover di sini nih. Tapi untuk lebih jelasnya di sini tuh harus membutuhkan penyiraman yang agak rutin karena memang tersungkup lebih rapat. Nanti akan lebih memantulkan sinar matahari di dalam sehingga proses fotosintesis tanaman itu lebih baik.
While agronomists at Belief's Farms are working hard on methods to increase yields, they also need to ensure how the produce can be efficiently transported to customers. The produce is distributed and sold through 5 channels: export, hotels, restaurants and cafes, online vendors, local markets, and supermarkets like this one. And you can see some of the farmers' names on the packaging as well. For those at Belief, the challenge isn't sustainability. Rather, how consumers can get the right price point for their produce.
The different farming methods like hydroponic, like organic, means there's more cost incurred when we are producing the item. So then naturally it will be reflected on the price that we bring to the market. So I think there's a lot of emphasis in the company to try to see if we can improve that, so that we can bring like a better price to the market, so that we can be more affordable, like more competitive, so that like more people can enjoy the products.
With increased attention and awareness in recent years among consumers wanting to know where their produce is coming from, companies like Belief Farms may be on the right track in empowering farmers via sustainable solutions and helping to ensure food security for a better future. Coming up next, Indonesia is working towards transforming its agri-food system by relying on agriculture digitalisation such as e-agriculture and innovation to achieve that goal. Piti Pertiwi Murni is meeting with Wartono, a farmer, for her data collection rounds. As an extension worker in Sleman Regency's Margolui village for the last 15 years, Piti holds one of the most important jobs in Indonesia's agricultural sector. She functions as a bridge relaying key information from farmers on the ground to the Agriculture Ministry. The information includes farmers' details, location points, land area, seed varieties, fertilization, as well as information on pests and diseases affecting crops. This was a task she previously did manually, but her job is easier to execute now, using a digital collection platform or DCP pilot project.
Jadi sebelum ada DCP, saya biasanya menggunakan form, Mbak. Form itu bisa diperoleh dari dinas maupun form yang saya buat sendiri sesuai dengan kebutuhan informasi yang diperlukan. Itu membutuhkan paling cepat itu, kalau pengalaman saya selama ini 1 minggu. Itu paling cepat.
Untuk pendataan berapa petani?
Sekitar 80 petani 1 minggu. Tetapi setelah adanya program DCP ini, dengan adanya aplikasi ini, saya tinggal kontak sama kelompok tani, Pak, kita akan ada pendataan, minta tolong semua anggota kelompok tani dikumpulkan, kita akan kumpul di mana, hari apa, kemudian kita semua kumpul, terus kemudian saya buka aplikasinya. Seperti itu, Mbak.
For farmers like Wartono, having agriculture extension workers use the platform to collect information means the process for receiving subsidized fertilizers is sped up.
Kalau misalnya pupuk, kita langsung dikasih sama Bu PPL. Ini Pak Wartono ini catatan pupuk untuk taruna. Kalau kita mengambil udah saya isi ya per beribu meter itu berapa kilo udah ada.
Farmers can also keep track of land conditions, fertilizer requirements, and crop production, allowing them to plant their crops purposefully based on the productivity they want to achieve, which can ultimately lead to an increase in income. As part of Indonesia's national e-agriculture strategy that aims to digitize agriculture in Indonesia, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, working together with the Faculty of Agriculture at Gadjah Mada University and the Ministry of Agriculture, created the DCP to be a web and mobile-based platform that can record data in real time.
Data yang kita harapkan di lapangan itu data real time. Karena kan selama ini ketika pendataan di lapangan itu kan butuh resource yang banyak ya, biaya yang besar juga gitu. Belum lagi waktu yang dibutuhkan juga panjang gitu. Jadi data yang sampai ke pusat itu bisa jadi data yang 1 sampai 2 bulan yang lalu gitu. Data ini kan menjadi sesuatu yang seksi gitu ya sekarang, data informasi gitu ya. Nah itu yang ingin kita bangun di sini. Jadi big data di bidang pertanian yang memang nanti manfaatnya bisa dimanfaatkan oleh multi stakeholder.
Data collectors in the field can access the platform via their mobile phones, and the website can be used to view databases, create questionnaires, and manage teams. Both versions can be used online and offline and will enable authorities to make better policy decisions while building a reliable research database.
Salah satu faktor yang kadang pemerintah tidak bisa mengambil keputusan cepat itu adalah collecting data. Collecting data di lapangan itu sangat tidak mudah. Apalagi pergantian personal itu cepat sekali. Mereka paling cepat belajar data itu 3 sampai 6 bulan. Makanya kalau kita ada platform digital pasti akan jauh lebih cepat untuk kita mengambil keputusan.
Indonesia is the 4th most populated country in the world and a major producer of agricultural products. With 45% of the population living in rural areas, more than 90% who work in agriculture are smallholder farmers, according to the FAO. Agriculture farming takes up 32% of the total land area of the country, and the production average accounts for 14% of GDP. But climate change and a looming global food crisis is posing a threat to food security, and going digital might be one way to bolster the country's resources.
You are connecting these farmers with modern technology, and information is power. And information is available. It's not the lack of information. It's just the lack of connections. And this would be sort of like a bridge, that will help farmers to get better information on early warning El Nino, for instance, in a comprehensive language that they understand. However, again, I come back to my point of education and awareness. They need to be trained.
Data that is gathered on the field is then funneled to authorities in Jakarta. Comprehensive data is sent here to the Agriculture War Room, where it can be accessed in real time. The goal is to build an integrated dashboard, and such a dashboard can accelerate the development of an early warning system as well as ensure food security. From the Agriculture War Room, authorities are able to capture the condition of the country's agricultural landscape through the data they receive. They're also able to better plan and determine the volume and type of crop that needs to be grown to ensure a healthy national supply.
Jadi kalau data collection di lapangan kita sudah bisa mengumpulkan berapa luas tanam, berapa luas panen, produksinya berapa, kita bisa ketahui saat ini gitu ya. Namun kan kita tahu bahwa komoditas-komoditas itu kan tidak semua mempunyai karakteristik yang sama. Waktu panennya, waktu tanam, produksinya dan sebagainya. Ya, di satu sisi kita bisa mengetahui nih dalam jangka pendek kira-kira cukup atau tidak, sehingga kita bisa mengetahui apa yang perlu diintervensi.
While the e-agriculture national strategy roadmap says Indonesia will have an integrated database for farmlands and farmers,
provide a digital early warning system for disasters that threaten agriculture production, and run systems for agriculture data collection, extraction, and analysis by 2027, there is also hope that digitalizing agriculture would not only empower farmers but also attract youth into the agriculture business.
Indonesia is facing a fertilizer deficit, but it's not curbing exports to shift production to meet domestic needs. The country's biggest fertilizer manufacturer, PT Pupuk Kalimantan Timur, says it intends to fulfill its commitment to deliver to its overseas customers, and it has a moral responsibility to ensure food security in the region.
Indonesia's biggest fertilizer manufacturing facility spans more than 400 hectares and is located in Bontang, East Kalimantan Province. The complex, operated by Pupuk Kalimantan Timur, has 13 factories producing non-organic fertilizers such as urea. Urea is manufactured synthetically by reacting ammonia and carbon dioxide. The heart of the process is at a reaction chamber where the raw materials are combined at high temperatures at about 200 degrees Celsius to form urea solution. The compound is then evaporated and the crystals melted to produce urea as prills or granules. The product is then stored in a warehouse before it's packed for distribution.
This is not snow, but urea. The fertilizer has a strong and pungent odor. One disadvantage of the compound is that it decomposes easily even at room temperature. One way to overcome this is to manufacture urea in the form of granules. These are larger, harder, and more resistant to moisture.
Indonesia produces 3.5 million tons of fertilizers per year for its domestic market and imports another 6.3 million tons. But this is not enough to meet its annual needs of 13 million tons. This was exacerbated when Russia, which is a major exporter of fertilizer, invaded Ukraine last year, causing a disruption in the global food supply chain. Pupuk Kalimantan Timur manufactures nearly 6.5 million tons of fertilizer per year, and half is for the export market.
Menjaga ketahanan pangan Indonesia itu juga harus berarti menjaga ketahanan pangan regional. Tidak bisa lagi ketahanan pangan itu hanya melihat domestik saja. Untuk Indonesia, ini regional juga mesti kita jaga ketahanan pangannya. Apalagi Pupuk Kaltim sebagai perusahaan produsen urea terbesar di Asia Tenggara, tentu kita punya tanggung jawab moral untuk menjaga ketahanan pangan regional itu.
Production in Pupuk Kalimantan Timur is gaining steam to address Indonesia's fertilizer deficit. The company is building another fertilizer plant in Fak-Fak Regency, West Papua, which is expected to begin operations in 2027. The facility, which is likely to cost over $1 billion, will produce 660,000 tons of ammonia and 1.2 million tons of urea per year. In 2020, fertilizer prices skyrocketed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but have been declining since the pandemic ended.
Kenapa tidak bisa kembali ke pre-pandemic level? Karena beberapa pabrik yang kemarin berhenti karena apapun alasannya, untuk dimulai lagi itu membutuhkan waktu. Dan kalau ada pertumbuhan permintaan, membangun pabrik pupuk itu membutuhkan waktu yang cukup lama, hampir 4 tahun untuk membangun pabrik pupuk itu. Jadi saya melihat dalam 1-2 tahun ini akan terjadi keseimbangan baru, less volatile market, tapi still pada harga yang mungkin lebih tinggi jika dibandingkan pre-pandemi level.
Farmers rely on fertilizers for their crops and hope that prices for the nutrients remain stable.
This machine is called an aerator, and its function is to loosen the soil to encourage the flow of air, water, and vital nutrients. Once the soil has been loosened, farmers can then apply fertilizers on the soil.
Fertilizers help increase crop yield and ensure healthy produce by supplying the right balance of nutrients to the soil.
Tanpa adanya pupuk juga tidak bisa membantu untuk pertumbuhan tanaman ini yang lebih baik lagi. Bahkan buahnya itu kalau tidak pakai pupuk, biasanya itu tidak seberapa, sedikit. Saya mencoba tanam kacang juga sebelumnya tidak pakai pupuk misalnya, itu ternyata buahnya pendek-pendek, Pak. Begitu saya pakai pupuk NPK, buahnya langsung lebih daripada setengah meter, sampai 70 cm.
Indramayu Regency in West Java Province is known as the National Rice Barn. Its rice production is the highest in the country. Farmer Waryana is trying to reduce his reliance on chemical fertilizers by producing his own organic version with the help of his goats.
Emang pupuk organik sangat baik lah. Banyak manfaatnya, limbah di sini kita banyak, material banyak, jadi tertariklah untuk merubah mindset para petani yang terus menggunakan pupuk kimia. Kalau pakai organik kan kita bahannya kan dari kita semua, jadi bisa ditekan biaya.
The government is also encouraging farmers to use organic fertilizers by giving subsidies.
Dari hasil berbagai research yang ada bahwa sebagian atau 2% dari 7 juta hektar tanah kita sudah mengalami degradasi kualitas, terutama di Jawa ini. Oleh karena itu, untuk menyuburkan kembali, salah satunya melalui pupuk organik yang kita mau atau tidak harus bisa lakukan.
But experts say the transition from non-organic to organic fertilizer is fraught with challenges.
Ada persoalan ekonomi politik dalam hal ini yang harus dihitung betul. Kalau kemudian terjadi transisi atau peralihan dari pupuk semikal ke non-semikal atau organik. Bagaimana nanti transisi ekonomi perusahaan-perusahahan pupuk yang Indonesia pupuk Indonesia bisa transformasi ke situ tanpa kehilangan pendapatannya gitu. Bagi saya itu pilihan yang logis dan harus diambil. Kalau kita mau betul-betul jadi negara yang berdaulat pangan.
The local government in Bontang is already seeing signs of the transition away from non-organic fertilizers. For many years, Pupuk Kalimantan Timur provided employment to residents in Bontang, but the local administration believes this may not be sustainable.
Kita sadar, Pak, bahwa industri Bontang ini kan industri yang tidak terbarukan. Arti sesuatu nanti pasti akan habis. Ya, jadi mau tak mau, suka tidak suka, kita harus sekarang ini merubah mindset kita. Kita banyak berikan pelatihan-pelatihan, Pak, pelatihan-pelatihan UMKM, pelatihan-pelatihan inovasi, TTG, dan lain semacam.
Demand for fertilizers, whether chemical or organic, is expected to continue to be high as these nutrients play an important role in the agriculture sector. Industry players and farmers complement each other as they steer the way forward in ensuring food security for the country.